Hello and welcome to MasterChef Deck Build Challenge Episode 2 featuring the Dark Scorpions. This was a bit of a tough one. The Dark Scorpions are not very good cards. However, I feel like we made something decent work. What I'm trying to do is lean into all the fours, the reason being I'm playing Ties of the Brethren, but it only works for level 4 or lowers, and it special summons 2 monsters from your deck with the same type, attribute, and level. I have opted to not play the level 3s and the 5s. This is the prompt from Distant Coder. He did say, put all of the Dark Scorpion cards in a deck list. I haven't ended up doing that, and so if I were to be actually judged on this, I might lose points. And my overall goal is, number one, I want to always help them try and win combat, because their effects trigger when they inflict battle damage to my opponent, right? When this card inflicts battle damage, discard or send the top 2 cards, send a spell, or add a Dark Scorpion, or recur from the graveyard. So the problem is that they're all about dealing battle damage, but they're really understated. So, like, they need a lot of help. We can sort of supplement that with Dark Honest. So often this is just going to set their monster to 0. And if their monster's at 0 attack and ours is not, then we'll be dealing battle damage. The other thing we have is Moon Mirror Shield. So that's another way we can always win combat. Prideful War does something similar, but we have to pay life, and it's plus 300 over instead of 100. But it's just another way of always winning combat, as I say. Battle Guard Echoes is a really fun include that I found. No, so it is only just a chick. So if they're leaning into the chick the yellow effect, that will trigger my Battle Guard Echoes. But a couple of different reasons why I'm running this. Number one, a monster being returned from field to hand. So I can actually bounce my own Dark Honest, and that would trigger it. Their chick the yellow can trigger it. But namely, it adds a level 5 Earth Warrior from deck to hand. My choice is Freed, the Matchless General. And what this is going to let us do, if we happen to get on the field, it is a level 5, not guaranteed, is it lets us add a level 4 warrior from the deck to our hand. Because we're on so few names, having sort of this line of like Battle Guard Echoes, bounce, get the Freed, eventually get one of our names in rotation is kind of what we need, right? We're just on the mid-breaker field for just general protection, right? One play that I didn't mention with the ties, you can't conduct your battle phase, I believe, the turn you use this, but it summons to 2. We have 3 level 4s on the field. You can use 2 of those level 4s to summon the Magnum Excalibur. This has its own effect, but it also has an equip effect. You can target one of the face summons you control, equip this card, you control to it as an equip, and it gains 2,000 attack and defense. So if we were to do that, use the Mene and the Burglars and equip to our Zalug, this becomes a 34, 35 that rips out their hand when it deals battle damage. That's pretty freaking good. So we have that line available to us. Obviously not on the turn that we ties, but on subsequent turns we can do that. And then we're on a pretty heavy suite of back row cards. The Battle Guard Howling and the Battle Guard Rage are warrior-themed support cards. And these are all warriors, and they are searchable off of our echoes, so we're just on 1-on-1. We're all going to be running the same cards, so I'm on Ice Dragon's Prison, because worst case scenario, I take a card out of their graveyard, and maybe in some situations I banish a Dark Burglar on the field. Dark Scorpion Burglar. The Prideful Wars is similar effect to Moon Mirror Shield, I kind of already covered. And Radiance. This is another thing that I was trying to do, and this is also leaning into Diddy Crows, is there's a card that you kind of needed to build with respect to, because it's the direction that everyone else sort of leaned into. You could argue that, you know, maybe the people in the episode didn't know for a fact that everyone else was going to be on the Jackpot 7 stuff, but I would like to think that if they were being clued in on it, then they would know that everyone else has been clued on it as well. Because, it's definitely a niche interaction. The Burglars Jackpot 7 interaction is definitely niche. But as content creators, they definitely would have known about it and known that that's a very obvious direction to go into. So I feel like building with respect to that combo isn't too sus, let's say. So we have some considerations in the deck list for that. But before I do that, I guess I should just talk about the Heavenly. It's because we want a back row suite. It just summons a big body to the field. You can tutor the other back row that we might need. Just in case they're running like big sweeping back row removal cards. But the Jackpot 7, when this card is activated, shuffle this card into the deck. When this card is sent in your possession, when this card in your possession is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, banish this card. If 3 of your Jackpot 7 are currently banished, and were all banished by this effect, you win the duel. So it's one of those alt win con cards. It's all revolves around giving your opponent a copy of Burglars, and then summoning a bunch of tokens, running in the tokens, and then binning all your Jackpot 7s that way. And then as you bin them, they get banished, and then you win. So that's why the Radiants are in here. Because when they summon their tokens, and they declare an attack, I can Radiant Mirror Force them, destroy all their tokens, and they won't be able to... this won't be inflicting battle damage for them to bin their spell. Because your opponent selects the spell they want to send. That's the whole thing. These Jackpot 7s also need to be banished by their own effect. All 3 of them need to be banished by the Jackpot 7 its own effect. So that's why I'm on DD Crow. DD Crow can target any card in the graveyard and banish it. So if they are doing the combo, they send a 7. 7 activates on Chain Link 1. I can Chain Crow on a 7 and banish it from the Crow's effect. And then their entire combo is basically null and void because one of them wasn't banished by its own effect. And so they just instantly lose. Pretty much. And then worst case scenario, this ties into the Ice Dragon's Prison. I can Ice Dragon's Prison any of their Dark Scorpions or Dark Warriors from their graveyard and banish the copy of my Burglars on my field that he's trying to run the tokens into. You can banish one monster from players' fields, from both players' fields that have the same type as each other. So I'm pretty sure I'd be able to banish a Burglars in that scenario. To stop the sort of silly alt win con from going through. And we also have Tornado Dragon. Similar reason. I'm just on like a suite of potential backer removal cards. Because if they've... with a similar line of thinking to me, where like playing all the sort of battle tricks to help your opponent get over... or to help your Dark Scorpions get over their opponent's monsters, they're on a similar sort of game plan to me, then these is going to sort of help mitigate the back row and give myself a fighting chance. So I feel like this covers a lot of bases, right? It covers potential mirror matches with the Speller Chart removal potential. It covers the sort of Jackpot 7 alt win con with some of my main deck stuff. It covers like just going full anti-meta, trying to run a bunch of back row removal because they've got the Heavenlies in there. The one thing it doesn't do, as I said at the beginning, it's not running all of the Dark Scorpion stuff. So again, I might lose points for that, but I feel like this is leaning into this sort of field swarming nature of the Dark Scorpions and their sort of appearance in the anime. It's leaning into the inflict battle damage gimmick of a lot of these cards. And it's just trying to do it in a more viable way. It's using fun ideas like Battle Guard Echoes, leading into the Warrior sort of synergy, being very specific against certain cards that we know that they'll be playing. I think that this is a pretty solid list. I think I did well with this one. But you let me know what you think. You be the judge. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.